Hello and welcome to the first update of the build, the AMX-13 75. As you see, I've made a lot of progress. All the work I'm going to show you right now, I did this within the first 24 hours of starting the build. Not continuous 24 hours, just on and off throughout the day. You know, a few minutes here, an hour here, in between everything else. So there you are, and just to go over a few steps, just to highlight a few things, putting things together. Everything so far, really good fit, really good finish, so no problems there. A couple things to point out. Here on step 2, step 1 and 2, where they're making these parts, which are here, these parts here. It may not be clear the way the angle, you know, you're putting this to there, gluing it, but it's actually at a slight angle. It's not 90 degrees angles between the two parts. On the hull, there is the points where they're attached. So what I did, I just put a little bit of glue, put the pieces on, and then adjust the angle so that it made it up with the mounting points in there. Also, as you see, there's a little bit of photo etch that goes there, which is this TP4 part. As you can see, it's on top of it, and once you put the sponge in here, you're really not going to see it, so maybe something that you might want to skip over. Let's see what else let's bring up to you. Putting the hulls top and bottom together. You see there's a seam here, but don't worry about that, because once you put the side skirts on, that's going to be covered up, so don't worry about that. Everything else here is pretty straightforward, as they have it on the instructions here. And so forth. All right. Yep, no problems with the grills. The only problem I would say about the grills is that is a really fine mesh there. So I'm a little concerned with between painting and weathering that might be clogged up. Even when I get the full effect of the mesh. So that's one of my concerns for that. Everything went well together. The side skirts here that I tell you to put here in step 9. I'm leaving these out for now. 1, because I want to work on the wheels and the tracks. 2, here's the left and the right one. This one is just the way they tell you to attach it. I have not attached it as is, because once you attach it, even though there are the mounting points there, it's a little wobbly like that. So what I am doing for those, what I did here on the left side, I already attached the other parts, which is going in step 12 here, which is adding these parts here, which makes this more rigid. And also when I put it on, it will give me a much better secure, so that I don't have this drooping. I'll be at the right angle here, as you see there. That's much more secure. So that's one thing I recommend, is to put this part together first and then attach it afterwards. Now the tracks. Now the way I did the tracks here, started the tracks, so they come in these strips. So, you know, trim them off as such. And what I did, I just trim off at the main points here, just to show you a quick example. And if I have a piece of tape here, let me just move the camera down a little bit. There you go. I have a piece here, sticky side up, taped up on both ends. And what I'm doing is, as I trim these, you see there, and I'm just going to lay them down on the tape to hold them in place. And then I'm going to work. Actually, I'm going to do it over here so you can see a little bit better. Trim them off. And obviously after trim them off, I'm going to clean them off. But just to go this real quick here. And I just start attaching them as such. So I did it calls here for 85 pieces. So I did about half of them, so about so like what 42 or so, 42, 43 pieces. So I did about that length, lay it all down, took just Tamiya thin, just lay it on each joint, let it set for a few minutes, and once it's all a little gooey but not dried out, I put it over the tracks, 1/2, let that set, and then I did the other half of the rung, and I put it on the other side of the tracks, let that set, and end result, you get this here. So this is the left hand side. So I did this in two pieces, the top and the bottom, and I left one joint unglued. This way I can just paint this separately, and then I just need to attach it. So I just gotta be careful since this is rather fragile at the moment. As so. And then at the end, I just glue that one piece there. Alright, and that's the simple way of doing these tracks. So it's a little tedious cutting up all these pieces, cleaning them up, and then putting half and half, letting one half dry, and then put the other half. Just when you do that, just be careful you don't have too much glue on the inside. When you put them here, make sure the glue is already dried out so that it doesn't want sticking to this. Now the wheels here, these are just press fitted. It's a really tight fit, so I can just prime everything, put the main coat on, and take them off to do any detail painting on them. Alright, so let me continue doing the upper hull, and then I'll show you the turret. Right, thank you. Hello and welcome back. Here I am with the main hull here of the AMX. So did a lot of progress here. Just want to point out a few things that I had a little problems with. Putting together these headlight guards that you see here, they were kind of fiddly, especially trying to put these two plastic pieces to get you that curve here on the focus here. That was quite fiddly to match them up exactly, so that took me a little while. The photo etch, no problems really, except for this part here, which is this. I wasn't 100% sure where it goes, but kind of figured it went like there, where you see it. So that's what I did for both of these two pieces. And this little bar, this little support bar that you see here, have it here on this one. But on this one, putting it on, I had my tweezers and it just bling, flew somewhere in the room, and no luck trying to find that. So, but I think you can barely tell that it's not there. You can barely tell that the other one is there. I put on the lights, as you see here. I did not put on the clear parts there. I think I should have enough clearance here to put them on at the end after everything is painted. So hopefully that'll be the case. If not, I'll have to think of a plan B. Now the other photo etch parts there went there in the back. No problems putting that together, folding them and putting there. It's very minimal. I mean, the parts are scored, so the folding is pretty easy. I'm talking about these little parts here and here. So that was easy. Here in the back, they have you put this tool in here. I left it out, so I'm going to paint it separate, then put it on the back. Here on the front, I've put the tool on just because that's easy enough to reach and paint. This one being here blocked by this is I think it just makes it easier, just paint it and put it on after the fact. See, all that was good. So that's where I am. Still got some other pieces, some more steps ahead to put them on. Now for the turret. So here we are. So this is where I am with the turret. Still need some more work. Still got to put the guided missiles on and some other pieces. Same thing as the back of the hull. I left the tools here off. I'll paint them separately and put them on. Here is the fuel tank, water bucket, gas tank. Water is the carry here. It's a separate little piece here. You see. Just leave that off. Now, as far as this, there's overall pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward to put it on, which is why I didn't really make any little clips beforehand up to this point. But a couple points to point out. One, these little antennas that you get here, which you put on here when you're putting together the dust cover, that's very fragile. This top part, that little antenna. I mean, I already bent and broke them a couple of times and had to straighten them out or glue them back on. That's something I would say is probably might be better just to cut them off entirely, drill a little hole, and put a little thin wire in there. That might be better for that. Also, there's this other piece here. If you can see, this piece right here, which is, let me just show you here on the which is this piece here, J8. That was also very fragile. I lost count how many times I broke that off, and I had to re-glue it. So that's something I would probably leave off. Same thing with these handles here in the rear. As I was holding, I kept touching them and break them off. So I will leave those two handles in the back. I will leave that part at the back, here in the front until later. I'll put them on. Now for the gas. Here, the very first stop when doing the turret, they ask you to drill these holes, which I did. I should have looked ahead, because those holes, you really only need them if you're doing this late type with the guided missiles, which is this more square piece here, you can see, as opposed to the early type with this round type, which is what the box cover, which is the one I'm doing, uses. So for this round one, you really do not need any holes. So I had to go back here and fill them up, which is why you see those little white spots there. So that's that. So just a word of caution. Unless you're doing this part, don't drill any holes in this area. Because you're not going to need them for that. AMC, told you about the tools. I'll leave them off. Now the instructions would have you put all these pieces together and then put the lower part of the turret up. I would say I would recommend you to probably put the top and bottom together along with the back plate together, so you have a good solid piece, and then put all the smaller parts on. Reason being, as you're gluing this and holding it, you're probably more likely to break break a piece off or something as you're handling it. So that's a tip I would probably follow doing this. This piece up here, which I'm not really sure what it is, which has a, let's see, where is it? Here in the instructions, which is here at 19.1. It's got this little trap door, and there is a piece that goes inside. I'm guessing this is some type of sensor, optical sensor or something. You could probably leave the door open, paint up the inside so you can see inside, see that there is an optical sensor or something in there. But I just left it closed. The fit of this port wasn't exactly the best, as you can tell by the white here. So I did have to do a little bit of filling and sanding just to take care of some of the gaps and steps here. But it wasn't too bad. Otherwise, that was pretty good. Also, I had little issues here. You can see a little bit of white, some more filling and sanding. And this was probably more my fault, as I cut and glued the pieces off. I cut them off the tree and glue them on. So I just had to be a little bit more careful about when I did that. But otherwise, here, putting the ring on, this bottom ring that has the tabs that made up here with the lower hull. I probably pushed this in a little bit too deep, such that when I put this on, it's not going to turn. So what I'm probably going to do is just cut off those tabs and just let the top of the turret just rest there. And that's that. Let's see what else. You might notice I circle some parts here. These are the tools that I'm going to go back and paint and mount separately. Alright, so that's basically where oh yeah, one other thing. The dust cover here, when I was putting it on, for some reason it cracked. That's the white line you see there. And I went back here with some filler, wipe it clean and try and fill up so it doesn't look like a crack. Once I put some primer, I'll see how good a job I did. Might have to redo it. Also, I couldn't quite get the dust cover to fit flush, so that is also a little bit of filler that I needed there. Okay, but otherwise it wasn't too bad of a piece putting on. Let's see, there's one other thing I wanted to mention. Putting on these pieces here, the aforementioned antennas here that might easily break off, and these, I guess, smoke launchers. Put the antenna on first, then put on the smoke launchers so that you can have the proper fit there. Alright, and the barrel, two-piece barrel, I had no issues with it. Easy enough to sand. I don't know if you can see any seam there in the sides, but that went together fine. You got the open barrel there. You got that focus there. So you got that detail there, so that was fine. Um, I did find putting on these brackets here for the turret to swivel fiddly, and they didn't quite work out exactly the way I would like them to work. Putting them on and putting them in, so I just glued them in place, which is fine. I mean, I'm not planning on playing with this, so that is fine for my purpose. Which brings me to nearing the end here, which is making the guided missiles. I have one here already put together. These will be painted separately, so I'm not going to mount them on the vehicle yet. They went okay. Actually, as far as the fit, these are probably the worst of the kit so far. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying compared to the rest of the kit, I found the fit of these, specifically the fins here, a little not as good. I'm going to have to go back here and put a little putty here and clean up those seams a bit. Alright, and that's where I am at. So next I just got to finish up the rest of that guided missile there. We're putting that frame and the photo etch, and then just a few more parts, and I'll be finished with the build itself, and then we can move on to priming and painting. Alright, so let me finish up those parts. I'll be back, show you everything before I start the priming. Alright, thank you. Hello, welcome back. Alright, so here I am. So this is the final of the build stage, and after this I'll be doing the painting. So I just want to give you a quick little look here at the end of this video, so you can see how everything came out, built out. So anything that's missing here are some of the tools, as I mentioned. Actually, I still got them here on the sprue, and the guided missiles, which I have here, and that's it. Alright, so that's the end of this part, and I will have another video update in another week or two with the paint job and so forth. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Alright, take care.